Good morning, Gateway family. So excited to be here. Got a big workshop. It's our brand new cardio workshop. It's a live stream for April 18th, 2026. And it's a big rainy morning. So I'm so glad that you guys are joining me. Hopefully you guys are snuggled up on the couch because there's really not a lot to do out there. But let me know you're watching. Let me know in the comment section that you're jumping on, you're tuning in, you're watching. Um, if I'm sounding good with my microphone, with my headphones, just somebody let me know that you hear me well. Hopefully the sound sounds pretty good. As we're just letting a few more people kind of log in here before we begin. But how about you? But this is a big class. This is going to be a class that I think will help a lot of you. And we have a different if you want to put like we have a couple different groups of people that are going to benefit from this class. Uh, oh, thank you, Mike. I'm glad the sound is good. All right, guys. All right. So excited you guys are here with me. Oh, Miss Suzanne, good. Glad you're on. Moffat family, glad you guys are watching. Um, so this is, people look at cardio and they're thinking fitness, and there is an aspect to this for sure. But this is really heart function and heart health and really trying to build up a healthy heart because the reality is, in spite of, what you may think of our healthcare system, we have the most advanced healthcare system in the world at crisis care and emergency medicine. We can save your life if you have the heart attack. If you get to the hospital fast enough, they can jumpstart your heart. They can do a surgery. They can kind of save you. They're really good at doing that in that crisis moment. But the reality is, what this class is going to focus on is how to not get to the hospital with a heart attack. How to not get to that point. How to do everything possible to build your heart health to where that's not you. In 5 to 10 years or 20 years. That's my goal with this. And not enough people are speaking out about this. And that's kind of the sad reality of this. So a lot of people are watching this, and there's going to be a group of this that are right now just looking to just preventative, which is a great place to be. Like that's where I want you to be, is preventative. How do I make sure I don't have a heart attack? How do I make sure my heart is doing as best it possibly can for my entire life? You're in that proactive state. That is a great place to be. That's where we want you. Then we'll have another group of people that are, and you might be in this group if you're watching. Maybe you have high blood pressure. Maybe you have high cholesterol. Maybe your heart rate is elevated. It's your resting heart rate isn't as low as you'd like it to be. Maybe there's some warning signs already happening with you in your health that you're concerned about and you want to make a change to. This is going to help you tremendously as well. How to reverse those problems before they get to the heart attack or the stroke. And then there's this last group, and sometimes this is, I wouldn't say the most important, but this is an important group because, maybe you've already had a heart attack, maybe you've already had the stroke, or you've had stents put in, and you think there's not a lot you can do. You have to be on these meds for the rest of your life. I can tell you that's not really true. Like there's a lot you can do to reverse even where you're at to improve your heart health, get that inflammation out of your body, get your body healing so much better. That's the exciting part about this class is we're going to help a lot of different groups of people. So I hope you're just as excited as I am. Let me know in the comments. And if you have questions as we get into this, ask your questions in the comments. There's not a bad question. We do a Q&A here at the end of these live streams. That's going to be big. I think we'll help a lot of people. We'll have a lot of questions, I think, from this one. And then lastly, we have a lot of people that are going to be watching this class that maybe are not a patient in our office. And we always want to welcome our first timers and our guests and patients. Maybe your brother's a patient, or your sister, or maybe it's your mom or your dad's a patient, they're trying to get you in to watch, or maybe it's just a friend from yours from work that's part of our office has got you in here to watch. We welcome you. We want you to get great change from this class as well, but also we want to enhance your lives. And you'll kind of see as we do things, we have an outline to this class. There's things you're going to be able to do just like our patients, which is really cool. We'll show you how to get these resources that help you with different avenues of your heart health. But then also we'll talk about the nervous system and how valuable, like if you didn't understand how important your nerves were to your health before, I think just when we talk about in relation to the heart, you're going to be so excited that you're a patient in my office, guys, that you're getting adjusted regularly because of how heart healthy that is. You have no idea. I'm going to share a little bit of research that'll just kind of blow you away. But if you're our guest and you're not a patient, we'll actually show you how you can be a part of the office as well and have an examination as well. So we got a cool thing for those of you that are guests here coming up too. So Pack your bags, get ready, have a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere for the next hour and a half. We're going to have some fun. So, all right, let's get into this class. So, I'll be kind of going in and out of presentation mode here. So, don't think I'm ignoring you if you're asking questions or commenting. I'm not. I just can't see them. But I promise you, once we do the Q&A at the end, I'm going to look through everything. I'll answer your questions. So don't leave. Don't get frustrated. Okay. But that's just kind of how this presentation mode is. So let's get into, yeah, the cardio virtual class. This is going to be big. Okay, so we'll kind of zoom in to this, and let's talk about first just how awesome our heart is. It's pretty great. If you think about what it does, it's shocking. Like, it really does kind of boggle the mind a little bit. So number one, it's a very hungry organ. Obviously, it is working all the time. You're on this planet. Every breath you take, you're awake or sleep, is pumping. Matter of fact, it pumps about 110,000 times a day on average. That's just one day. Think how many pumps that. I mean, that's just amazing. That it's like its own muscle, its own engine, just going at it like that. Then on top of that, the energy that the heart uses, the energy output of the heart, they measured in watts. So the energy output of the heart, it's enough energy in one day of beating that it can lift two Greyhound buses off the ground. That's how much energy your heart is using and emitting doing its job. And its main job, there's different jobs, but the main job of the heart is going to be to deliver blood, fresh blood, oxygen, nutrients to all of the organs and tissues of the body, and then to actually filter carbon dioxide back into the heart, oxygenate that, even some waste products to bring that back and filter that out. It's got a powerful job, and it's one of those things where we think about where our healthcare system is. We think about just how advanced we've got in surgery and that type of care, that emergency care. But heart disease has not gotten better. As a matter of fact, it's gotten drastically worse, and it's not even close. Like, you go back 100 years, this wasn't the leading cause of death. This was a problem, but it wasn't where it is now. But you can think the 60s, 70s, 80s, it has just really gone out of control. And it's now the leading. It's been the leading cause of death for a few decades. Um, it's getting so bad that one out of every four deaths is a heart related death. It's one person every 37 seconds dies from heart disease. I mean, it's bad. And I can tell you it's one and two. I can tell you it's one and one. And so many people think that, oh, that's not going to be me. Like, it's not going to be me. I got this under control. Or even worse, there's a lot of people that might be family, friend, people you love and care about, that they're on a lot of medications for, they're on blood thinners, they're on cholesterol meds, they're on blood pressure medication, and they'll sit there and tell you that, well, my doctor says it's under control, and you always got to take that with a grain of salt, because is it really under control? You're having to medicate your body and trick it to keep it under control. That's really not under control. There's a big problem going on, and if you stay on those drugs, likely you will have that heart attack. Like, it's just kind of what comes with being on the meds for a long time. So if you look at where we're at and how many people deal with heart issues in our country, you might think, and this is a big myth, that it's a normal thing. It's normal with aging. It's just part of getting older, doc. And my response to that is, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, okay, so your heart is only making it to 60 years old without some medical intervention, but the rest of your body is going to make it to 80 without medical. Like, it's not the heart, it's what we have done. It's our lifestyle for a lot of years that has really affected our heart. And you'll get into why it's worse now than ever. But the truth is, it's common in our country, but it's not normal. Like, we are way ahead, and this isn't a good place to be number one. We are way ahead of the world when it comes to heart related deaths, but no other country comes close to us as how many deaths we have. So there's a problem here, and it's a lifestyle problem. As you'll see, there's multiple factors that kind of go into this, but the future is not bright at all for heart disease. Matter of fact, the American Health Association that's has estimated that in just the next 4 years, by 2030, about 40, almost 41% of the US will have some kind of cardiovascular disease. That includes kids. That's two out of five people, folks, in our country. That's insanely scary. And I'm going to tell you why I believe this might be on the light side. If you look at the experiment that our country went under in 2020 and 2021, when the certain shot rolled out in 2021, it's in about 2023. People were pretty adamant about taking that thing. Um, the truth has been there since the trials. They've known the shots, especially these COVID shots and the boosters, the mRNA technology, the spike protein stuff. What it had done, it would create issues of the heart for people. It just did. It did in the trials. We've gone through many down a rabbit hole, many classes we've had since the COVID days. We've talked about this a lot. But the amount of myocarditis that young adults started dealing with after having the shot, we've never seen that happen. It's just increased dramatically. So we have a lot more kids that have heart problems than we've ever had because of that shot. We also have a lot of adults that would normally not have a heart problem, had thrombocytopenia, had a heart attack, had a stroke, had myocarditis, you name it, had issues with blood pressure just related to the shot alone. There's a staggering number of studies and evidence that show that there's a lot more heart related cases now thanks to that shot than ever before. So if you had one of those shots, if you noticed when we did the quiz, that was a question that we had asked. And it's not to be mean. You guys understand, it's not that. A lot of you were patients during COVID, and we really tried to put our wings around you and protect you from getting the shot. A lot of people didn't get it that were there during that time, but we've had so many people that have come into our office that they didn't meet us. They didn't know about us in 2020, 2021, and they ended up having the shot. Maybe they got scared into doing it. Maybe they got forced by their job to do it to keep their job. So no judgment on any of that. It's just that puts you at a disadvantage, right? So we really want to start making changes here. And that's kind of where we believe that we can make an impact in your life, in your spouse's life, your parents' life, your kids, your friends, and in church family. We can make a difference in their lives if they understood what we're talking about and what we do. Because at the heart of what we believe is that your body has its own innate intelligence. And if you hear me say the word innate, it's not necessarily a spiritual term. It can be. I believe it's the soul. I really do. But even in kind of a secular world, it all doctors, we learn about the healing potential of our own body. It's called innate intelligence. Means there's this special healing power that our body is intelligence that supersedes our intelligence. And if you want to think about it, think about just how you came into existence. You started off as two cells in your mother's womb, and then in about 3 weeks, your body started to replicate and build itself, and it turned into a spinal cord and a brain stem, a primitive one. That's the first structure that forms. And then from that, the innate intelligence just starts building everything. All your nerve pathways, all your organ pathways, the positions of all the organs where they should, like your heart's for 99.9% of people, it's on the left side, right? So how does your body know how to just automatically do that? How does it know how to, connect everything with tissue and then put skin around the bone structures? How does it know to do that? You're not telling it how to do that. Doctors don't do that. Your innate intelligence within your body does that. It grows you. This is still in existence today with you breathing air. Innate is always working within the category of our structure, so our body. Innate's always working um, in the structures which they work. And innate, this is another big thing that's I think a very important thing as we talk about heart disease. Because if you're dealing with heart issues, you're dealing with disease of any kind, you might think that maybe that area is broken or that's damaged. And when I say that innate never wants to damage its own structure, it won't do it. That's hard to kind of believe. So I get this. Well, what I mean by that is as long as we're not interfering with innate, so as long as our lifestyle is in alignment with innate, it's going to run our body very well as long as it possibly can. Now, if you're having like a heart related problem, or if you're having neck pain, if you're having chronic neck pain, chronic back pain, you're having sciatica, if you're having migraines all the time, like you name a disease, what that tells me is that something is blocking your innate at that level. And we'll get into how we identify that and why we work with the body in our office with corrective chiropractic and adjusting and rehab. But that's in a nutshell of what innate does. Innate's going to do everything it possibly can to keep you alive, to keep your body working well. And so the prevention strategy that we're going to talk about is going to be, let me pop this up here. There we go, It's our five essentials. And these are things you see this in our office, right? You'll see this on some of these slides. Each different symbol represents one of the five essentials. I always like to start off with the mindset. Mindset is valuable. Our mindset matters a lot when it comes to health. There's so much power with knowledge and power of how we think. And people really underestimate that. And we call it mindset. So, in our aspect, in our realm of how we take care of patients, is getting a patient to understand their potential to get better is everything. It really is because on a surface level, if you just don't believe you're going to get better, nine times out of 10, you're probably right on that, right? Henry Ford had a really good quote: whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So your mindset matters. When it comes to how we teach patients, that is, well, we need to have the right mindset on health. Health isn't just coming from, pills, potions, and lotions. Health is not just the absence of symptoms. That's not health. Health isn't just being pain free. These are all good things, but it's not really the definition of health. What true health is, and you want to write this down if you haven't heard this before, health is about healing and functioning at 100%. If your body's healing and functioning at 100%, you are healthy. You are not going to be in pain. You're not going to be on a bunch of medications because you're healing well. You're right. You're going to be pain free because you're healing well. But if you are healing at 80%, you might not be symptomatic yet, but there's problems brewing, right? So if you didn't know this, and your body, for whatever disease to show up as symptoms, so let's say headaches, you can start getting headaches. Well, by the time you start getting your first few headaches, your body in that area of arteries, the problem has already winded down to about 60% function. That's when you get your first symptom. 60% function. Heart attack, 60% function is usually when people feel the first symptom that there's a heart problem. And a lot of times that's a heart attack, right? With half the people. Well, why is that? Because your body in feeling symptoms, it's not automatic like you might think. So we want to do everything we can to build our health. Well, now we think, okay, health's about healing and functioning at 100%. Well, something's got to run my health, right? Something's got to run this whole system. Well, it's not your heart. As amazing as your heart is, something tells your heart how to do its job amongst all your other organs. That's your brain. Your brain runs your entire, network of healing. Let me take this off here for a second. That's what runs your body. Brain, spinal cord, and the way your body works, you can see the model behind me. The brain has to tell your heart how to beat all the time. And the heart's got to relay a message back up to the brain going, what do I do next? Like, what do I do? So the way it works, impulses are sent down the brain, down the brainstem, down your spinal cord, and those nerves that exit your spinal cord, they run your body. They attach to different organs, different ones you can see here, different organs as you go down your body. That's how your body runs. And that's how it works. And so you see the nerves here that run the heart. You have nerves. You have a couple different branches we're going to get to that run your heart. And so if that's working well, you're healing well. If for some reason the spinal bones that are surrounding your nerves are damaged or out of alignment, which can happen due to a million different reasons, but when they're out of alignment, then there's pressure being put on those nerves, or there's pressure being put on the actual spinal cord itself. And what that does, that diminishes the power and the messages from your brain to whatever that organ that the nerve goes to. So it starts to diminish function, it slows it down, it starts to build disease, it can cause pain, but the longer that the problem is left alone, the worse it gets. And that's why with us, our job, we start with structure because that controls all your organs. We look at how this is protected. Is it aligned well? If it's not, we adjust, we do rehab. We want to structurally help correct somebody's spine to get that pressure off so we clear the communication and remove interference. Then on top of that, we want to put in good fuel. Our body's designed to take nutrients and turn those into cells and food for the body, for our energy for the cells, and for repairing for the organs and tissues. We got to be putting the right stuff in. We don't eat well. We're going to talk about that, how that relates to heart health, cholesterol health, all of that. But in a nutshell, we got to eat. We got to put good food in our body. That's kind of a given. We got to exercise. We got to move. We are designed to move. We're not designed to sit at a desk all day or sit on our couch and watch TV all day. Our body will break down in very, very serious ways if we are not moving it on a daily basis. And then we got to detox. We got to get junk out of our body. So we teach that how to eliminate toxins safely from the body, so you don't build up these micro poisons, as we call them, that can mess with how your body works. So that's in a nutshell. That's the five essentials, and it's huge. It's a huge thing that we teach, and we want you to latch onto these because knowing this stuff and working it at each of these essentials, it'll change your life. It's changed my life. It's changed, thousands of patients that we've taken care of over 20 years, almost 20 years. Um, and a lot of you watching has changed your life already. So doing these essentials matters. And let's start off with healing the heart. I'm going to take a little sip of electrolytes here. Kind of losing my voice, so bear with me, guys. So we want to start with identifying the cause. So what is the cause of heart disease? Well, that's the magic question. There's several. It's not just one factor. That's why we're approaching this from the inside out. What are several things that we do that can kind of cause this storm of heart health or the heart breaking down way ahead of what it's designed to? Well, if we can identify two main things and talk about the several factors that affect these two main things, we are on a right path. I want you thinking about this. So, with cholesterol, because that's a big one, a lot of people are on statins. We'll get to that. But cholesterol increases due to inflammation. So this is one that if you're taking notes, you want to take a picture of this with your phone, totally fine, or write it down. Remember, these classes save. You can rewatch them. So when I move through this, you can always rewatch this once we're done. It saves to Facebook or YouTube. So you can share this with family. You definitely want to, because I know there's so many people close to you that have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, have had a heart attack, had stents. Share this class with them. It'll save their life. It'll help keep them to where they're not loaded up on drugs their whole life or having a heart transplant or open heart surgery. If they can get these causes, what is inflammation caused by? Many things. A lot of times it's the medications you're taking for other problems will cause inflammation. How nuts is that? Sugar, grains, toxicity, nerve-related problems like subluxations in your spine, that causes inflammation. And it's not just in the spine, it can be systemic in your muscles, in your tissues, in your organs. Lots of things cause inflammation. Blood pressure, that will also rise. That rises due to stress. Now, stress can be physical, mental, emotional, or nerve related. So, like a physical subluxation, all those can stress the body and cause blood pressure to rise. All those have been studied, well documented. But in a nutshell, inflammation and stress. I bet you thought I was going to say some other stuff, but it's really those are the main things. Absolutely. So let's start with cholesterol. I feel like that's a good place to start. There's so many people that are just in the dark about cholesterol. We have been brought up to fear it. I don't want you to ever fear cholesterol. It is a great thing. So say that with me. Cholesterol is great. It's great. I know that one's hard for especially those of you that are, I would say, 60 and older watching this. It's hard to say that. You've been told your entire life that there's good and bad cholesterol, and you got to watch the bad stuff. There's a lot of just misconceptions and myths with that statement. So let me break it down for you. This will help. So you got a little picture here of an artery, and then on the inside of the artery you got LDL and HDL cholesterol. So when I say LDL and HDL, that's actually not cholesterol. That is lipoproteins. So high density or low density lipoproteins is what that is. So good HDL or the high density lipoprotein regulates the LDL, the storage of it, and promotes you eliminating it from your body. So it's a good thing. You want your HDL to be pretty high. Your LDL stores cholesterol in the bloodstream, and it's a repair mechanism. So its job is to repair damaged tissue. It's not just arteries; it's repairing. It's repairing tissue all in muscle tissue all over the body, tissue in other organs. But when it comes to the arteries, this is where people can get into trouble. If you are very inflamed with your lifestyle, and we're going to talk about these factors, but your body starts to repair the lining because the lining starts to get damaged when you have a lot of inflammation that affects those arteries. So LDL is going to try to repair the tissue damage. Well, if nothing's done, you start getting all this LDL laying down in the artery repairing. It kind of forms like a callus, like it gets kind of hardened, like a plaque, and it starts to build up. And as you can kind of see here in the model, when you get a lot of an area that maybe there's an area of the artery that's pretty damaged and it's getting repaired and repaired and repaired, Well, it starts to occlude the artery. There's not as much space for the red blood cells to go through and all the other cholesterol, so it just kind of backs up. And then when you have a total occlusion, you can have a stroke, right? You can have a heart attack. Um, you can start seeing the blood pressure increase because now instead of having like a big hole and then blood just easily goes through that, well, then you got a very, very restricted occluded artery. Now the blood flow, your body, your heart's got to increase the blood pressure to deliver that same amount of blood through. It's like trying to, you know, blow out water through a regular straw, and then you get a little coffee straw that's real tiny. You try to blow it out. You got to really push or really blow a lot of pressure to get that, to get the water out through that straw. So understanding plaque atherosclerosis is basically the hardening of the arteries. So you start seeing the plaque here form and build up. That's where problems can happen. But if we understood that this is happening because a person is so inflamed, their lifestyle hasn't been very good, they've been very stressful on their body, and because their body is trying to clear or clean out and rebuild and repair damaged lining of arteries, how do we work on reducing the plaque buildup? We got to reduce the inflammation because at the end of the day, cholesterol, it's not cholesterol in and of itself that's causing a heart problem. This is why I'm going to tell you cholesterol is great. So understand, from a genetic, not just a genetic, but just a what's the word I'm looking for? Just an anatomy perspective, physiology. That's the word I'm looking for. From a physiological standpoint, you have to have cholesterol. You have to. There's no getting around it. Your cholesterol is made from your liver. 80% is made. 20% comes from what you eat. 80% is what's already made inside you. It's not bad. If it was bad, our body wouldn't make 80% of it. Our first food of life is hopefully breast milk from our mommy. And breast milk is loaded with saturated fat, which is cholesterol. It's loaded with cholesterol. It's extremely high in fat. You need it from the moment you come out. Your whole life, you need cholesterol. You need the fat, right? So when I say cholesterol, I say fat. Use those words interchangeably; they mean the same thing. So we need cholesterol. Our brain needs it's 2/3 cholesterol, 2/3 fat. Our brain needs fat. Our cells are lined with fat. That's the only way that nutrients get into your cells and then waste is excreted out is through fat, is through cholesterol. Your nerve endings are aligned with myelin, which is a protein fat substance for better communication. You guys get what I'm saying? All your hormones, ladies and gentlemen, come from cholesterol. That is the building block of all the hormones in your body come from that. So my point is, if you didn't understand why I say we love cholesterol, we love it because we desperately need it. Our bodies need it. And the worst thing we can do is try to lower our cholesterol. That'll be one of the worst mistakes you can make long term for your heart, for your brain, for your hormones, for your inflammation, for your joints, for your waist size would be to lower cholesterol. So the truth, let's get some truths. It's the oxidation of cholesterol that causes heart disease. What is another term for oxidation? Inflammation. They mean the same thing. Oxidation, so if you have inflamed cholesterol, which means you're going to have a lot of LDL that's high on your testing, it means it's repairing a lot of inflamed arteries, tissues, muscles all throughout your body. It's a marker, and you want to get that down. Truth. More people have heart attacks with normal cholesterol than elevated. Yeah, the Cochrane collaboration looked into this. This is looking at all the data, all the studies out on cholesterol and heart related issues. Did you know? I'll get to this. I'll get to this little gold nugget in a minute. I'll get to this one in a minute. But this is a higher death rate with low cholesterol than high. It's a higher death rate. You have a higher risk of dying from that heart attack if your cholesterol is on the lower end, not on the high end. I know you were told a complete lie if you were told to get on cholesterol because your high cholesterol is going to cause a heart problem. No, you're actually more at risk if it's low. Did you know that? So again, the high cholesterol, here's another grouping of studies looked at, right? This is the expert review of clinical pharmacology, the importance of HDL and LDL cholesterol. The perspective looking at all these studies, LDLC, LDL cholesterol, does not cause cardiovascular disease. A comprehensive review of the current literature. So listen to this. For half century, a high level of total cholesterol, or TC, or low density lipoprotein cholesterol, has been considered to be the major cause of atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. And statin treatment has been widely promoted for prevention. However, there's an increasing understanding that the mechanisms are more complicated than statin treatment, in particular when used as primary intervention, is of doubtful benefit. It's not the cause. Oh my goodness. Take a picture of that. Take a picture of that. Okay. Not to get anybody in trouble, but take a picture of that. Show some people that have high cholesterol. They need to see that. So, what really makes high cholesterol or high LDL? It's bad habits, guys. It's look on the left. So it's all the it's all the bad fat that people take in. All those foods that people eat, they are soaked in hydrogenated oils, artificial oils, canola oils, vegetable oils, soy oils, or seed oils, or fake butter, the margarines, all that, that creates inflammation at a cellular level in your body. That's going to raise your LDL cholesterol. Having being overweight, that's the middle picture. That is a big risk factor for high LDL and high cholesterol. That's going to be a big risk factor. So how do we want to get the waist size down? We want to lose some weight. That helps. We want to get on better oils. That helps. Better nutrition helps. And then being sedentary. Being sedentary will raise your cholesterol, right? It's going to cause inflammation. Remember, we're designed to move. I think this one's a little bit funny. So this guy, he's got like I don't understand it. Either he just got done working out and he's just eating potato chips, which isn't good, or he's just laying down and maybe he's working up a sweat eating those potato chips. So he's got the wristband on. I don't understand that. I just that one always kind of tripped me out, but it's not good. We don't want to be doing that stuff. And when people have cholesterol that's high and you go have your blood work done, I know what you're told. I know what you're told. You have high cholesterol. You're at risk for heart disease or a stroke. We have to get that down. Here's your statin medication, your Crestor or your Lipitor or whatever they make now. Are these really the answer? No. I just showed you the research, and that's looking at all the Cochrane collaboration looked at statin medications throughout. The number needed to treat. Is it really a risk reward benefit to take these things? Does it stop people from having heart attacks? The answer is no. And if you don't believe me, if you're taking statins, look at the box of the medication you take, whatever it is. If you read the label on the box, on the back of it, or on the insert that comes with the drug, it has to say on that box that this drug has not been shown to reduce the risk of heart attacks or stroke. It says it on the box. How nuts is that? Your doctor doesn't even tell you to look at the box. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you the truth. The statins do not. Matter of fact, what statins do is just lowers your cholesterol. And there's ways it does it. It kind of damages your liver to do that. But long term, these things are terrible drugs for your whole body and your whole health. One of the side effects is heart attacks and strokes. So the very reason you would take one of these things is to prevent one, but it can actually lead to one. It lowers cholesterol. So this is where it gets really dangerous because if it's lowering cholesterol and the doctors want you to go on the low end, if you're on the low end of normal, hey, look, we talked about having heart attacks with low cholesterol, lower. You just put yourself in that category by lowering your cholesterol that way. You also put yourself in the category for developing dementia or Alzheimer's in the future. There are studies that looked at this because you suppress your cholesterol. Now you don't have enough for your brain or for your joints. So what's another side effect of statins? Pain, chronic joint pain, because you're not coating the joints with the healthy fat. What's another one? Hormone problems. Guess who takes statins more, men or women? Men. Guess what hormone issue men are dealing with now more than they ever had? Low testosterone. Boom, you're on statins. You will end up having low testosterone. You'll have a low T level and you're going to be told to take testosterone. You don't have to. You just have to remove the source of the problem. So again, hopefully I'm waking you guys up. I hope I'm waking you guys up. That's huge stuff. Like people don't get that. If you have family or friends that are taking statins, send them this like get the link on YouTube, send it to them. Get the Facebook link, check this out. I'm worried about you. You're taking all these statins. Listen to what Dr. Wall's talking about. And then they can look it up themselves because don't take my word for it. Look it up. But that's what it does. Blood pressure issues. So blood pressure, here's the problem with blood pressure being high. You don't always feel it right off the bat. They call, high blood pressure hypertension the silent killer because it is. There's not a ton of good warning signs that people get before they have a heart attack. Half the people that have heart attacks have no symptoms. The first symptom was their heart attack. That is not a good place to be. That's scary when you think about it, and nobody wants to be there, but it happens. So there are some things that maybe we can look out for. They're not always related to high blood pressure. They could be from, lights could be from the blood pressure medications you're taking. So just be aware. But if you're having like blood spots in the eyes, you're seeing that, dizziness, fatigue, insomnia, lethargy. You can even have, you know, pain in maybe the shoulder, the arm area, or up in the neck, but it travels down. Those are some warning signs, but again, they might not be the whole picture. If you're taking a lot of medication for blood pressure, that could be causing it. But if you're lucky enough to have those warning signs, you've been fatigued for several days, and you have the history. Maybe you have a history in your family of blood pressure issues, or you have hypertension or heart disease in your family. Go get yourself checked out. Just make sure, peace of mind is important. Just make sure that you're not in a crisis mode. But the real main thing that you want to go by is going to be, the real indicator would be like your blood pressure, your pulse pressure. That's really big. And the problem with pharma, they've done this with cholesterol levels too. They reduce them and change them on purpose to get you taking more drugs. They want everybody, you should understand from the standpoint of a drug company, they want all of us, including our kids, to be customers for life. They want us taking drugs our entire life. So how do they get people to get on drugs more and more? Well, they change parameters for cholesterol and blood pressure. Cholesterol 30 years ago, you could have a 300 cholesterol, total cholesterol number, and they wouldn't even blink, bat an eye. They wouldn't put you on statins until it got over that. If you look at it now, it's man's 200. They'll put you on statins at 200, right? Completely different. The only thing that changed was them changing the goalposts, right? They moving the goalposts closer. Same thing with hypertension. It used to be 130. They would tell you, we need to watch this and monitor it a little bit. But now I've seen people at 122 over 85 get put on blood pressure medication. They've been told it was too high, which is a joke, right? Stage one hypertension, that's like between 130 and 139 over 80 to 89. So the first number is the systolic pressure, the second is diastolic. Stage two would be higher than 140 as a top end number, higher than 90 on the bottom end. And that's like you got to make some lifestyle changes now. Like you really need to. You're starting to inch to where you're getting close to maybe a heart attack risk. It's getting higher. It's moderate risk. But if you start getting to stage three, where you're up there in that 180 or over the 120 zone, even if it's for a little bit, go to the ER. Like that, you're in a hypertensive crisis. You're probably going to have a stroke or heart attack pretty soon if you don't get to, and they're going to have to medically save your life there and calm that down. And then it's absolutely imperative that you change your lifestyle because even if it's that high, you can get to where you don't have to take drugs the rest of your life to keep it low. You just have to change your lifestyle. So I want to pop this up here because there's we want to talk about better tests for cardiovascular disease. This is where we want to start. These are big. So hopefully you're writing them down, taking a picture, share them with your family and friends. These are people don't do this with their normal blood work. So if you're having your regular blood work done, your yearly blood work, these are tests you can simply add if you request it to your primary care, add it to your blood work. So this first one is called C-reactive protein. What does that mean? That is a inflammatory marker. It measures inflammation in your body. Now, you don't just want a C-reactive protein. That's better than nothing. But what you'd like to get would be a high in HS, pardon me, in HS, high sensitive CRP test. That's used specifically for heart disease risk. And so if you have that done with your blood work, again, they can add it on to it. Super easy. A level of if it's lower than 1 milligram per liter, you're in the sweet spot. You have a very low risk of heart disease. That's where you want to be. If you have a HS-CRP level between 1 milligram a liter and 3, you're now in the moderate risk. You got to make some changes to lower that, and it will lower when you make the changes. You're at moderate risk. If it's higher than 3, very high risk of heart attack, stroke, you know, congestive heart failure, you name it. High risk cardiovascular disease. It's a good test. That's a good marker. If you're taking blood pressure, that can be helpful. You want to take it a few times per day, different times, and do an average. Um, Obviously, if you're like running wind sprints, you don't want to really take your blood pressure, then it's going to be obviously high because you're doing it. So just kind of think about what you're doing before you take it. But take it several times a day and get averages. That way, if it's averaging pretty high, that's another good marker to check out. Another one would be heart rate variability. Um, that is called HRV. What that is a measure of is how well your heart adapts to a stress load you put on it. So I'm just sitting here talking. My resting heart rate should be pretty low. But if I got up and I just started making a wind sprint down the street, I ran 100 meters as fast as I could. My heart has to adapt to that strain I'm putting on it by increasing the beats. So my blood pressure is going to go up. My heart rate's going to really go up. Blood's going to be pumping all over the legs and extremities, my arms, so I can run fast. So my heart rate's going to jump. And then the rate that it goes from resting to very high as I'm running, the quicker it does that, the quicker it adapts. That is a good HRV. That's good. And then same thing, if I stop and I start taking deep breaths and I start calming down, or maybe I sit down and I start taking deep breaths, my heart rate should drop back down to resting relatively fast. It shouldn't take, 30 minutes to get back to a resting heart rate of where I was. So the faster it calms down is also a good indicator of heart rate variability. So that's a good test to do as well. Another one I want to point out is homocysteine. Homocysteine is you can add homocysteine with the C-reactive protein in your blood work. High homocysteine is again another inflammatory marker. It just means you got a lot of inflammation in the body. Again, these are kind of like the precursors to heart issues, cancers, if you will. So a lot of this is inflammation. Now, this when you get your cholesterol done, because you get that in your normal blood work anyway, this is how you want to look at cholesterol numbers. It's not the total that you want to be the most worried about. It's important, right? It can tell you if you're more on if you have inflammation, that's important. But the most important cholesterol test would be your triglyceride, which is TG, that's triglyceride, divided by your HDL numbers. And that's called the TG to HDL ratio. And so you'll divide it. Look at your blood work. You have both of these numbers. You can do this test from your house today and see where you fall. You would like to be below 2. That is ideal. You have good insulin sensitivity. You got extremely low heart disease risk. That's ideal. Now, if you're between 2 and 4, that's borderline high. You have moderate risk of heart disease or even metabolic disease to be more specific. Above 4 is high risk, often associated with insulin resistance, so think type 2 diabetes, small dense LDL particles, and increased atherosclerosis risk. So increased plaquing of arteries. If you're above 4, that's a big problem. And if you're above 6, you're super high risk, very strongly predictive of metabolic dysfunction and cardiovascular events of all types, heart disease, stroke, congestive heart failure, you name it. So, and here's the thing with this. This one's sneaky because you might be in the normal zone of triglycerides and HDL. So individually they might appear normal, but still do that ratio and see where you fall because a high triglyceride to HDL ratio can reveal an underlying metabolic problem. So you could be you could be finding stuff out way ahead of time if you have normal HDL triglyceride levels and then you actually still do this test and it still is above two, now you're thinking, okay, I'm catching something really early, and you can do something about it really early, which is kind of the beauty of it, right? It really helps. So we are identifying, hopefully that helps with the better tests for cardiovascular disease. We want to identify and remove the interference, right? And so here's one big one. I hit this with cholesterol because it is fat in a nutshell, but fat has become the scapegoat for the last 30 years. We're taking it back. We're getting our fat back. I mean, like I will preach this till this is the hill I'm going to die on with nutrition. We need fat. Do not be scared of fat. You need it. Your body craves it. It craves it. It's not the sweetening. It's not the fat. It's the type of fat we've been eating. There's a difference in these two pictures, right? This picture on the left, nothing healthy in those foods, but all those foods are cooked and caked in unhealthy fat, not just the fat. So let's be honest. There's a ton of carbs here, and there's a ton of artificial and sugars and processed, sugars. There's all of that in those foods too. It's not just the bad fat, that's terrible as it is, but all those sugars and carbs that go along with that bad fat, man, that just creates this inflammatory response when you eat it and try to digest it. Now, on the right, you can still have a lot of great foods, but have healthy fat. That's not inflammatory. These are healthy fats that are like omega 3s. They're anti inflammatory. So you have like, salmon and eggs and avocados, and you have olive oil there. These are going to be more the heart healthy fats we want to consume. So let me break this down because most people are not putting in enough good fat. Even if you eat healthy, I almost guarantee you're not eating enough healthy fat. If you're a woman and you have gone through or you're entering into menopause, you're perimenopausal, menopause, postmenopausal, 100% you don't take enough fat in. You don't. If that period is that if that's very hard on you right now, if you're past it, but it was so hard on you and you're having some issues because of that, um, it's the fat. You are fat deficient, and you can change that. That's the good news. You can radically change that, but you got to start having fat every meal, a lot of it too, and that's hard for some people because we've grown up thinking it's the enemy. It's not. So, what are heart healthy fats? Well, in the middle of this, you have those are like omega 3 gel caps. So that's absolutely those are great. Omega 3 fats they're an essential amino acid. Our body does not make it. We have to get that from food. And because we're so stinking deficient in fats, we need to not only eat foods that are loaded with it, we're going to have to take some omega fats too, just to offset the deficiency that we have built for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of not eating a lot of fat. You have avocados there. You got salmon. You got olive oil in the background. Those are great. Tallow. Let me tell you, I'll make it real easy. There's 5 oils that you would like cook with or consume on a daily basis. So grass-fed butter, tallow, which is animal fat, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Now, olive oil, the reason I have that kind of ranked the last of the good ones is because you can't really heat that up too much. It will denature and turn rancid. But those five, those are the ones you do. You do nothing else. I mean, I used to get like into the weeds of all these other bad oils. Just do those five, do nothing else. You will be great. You will be good. Eating those foods like avocados or coconuts or healthy animal fats from animal meats, um, uh, coconut, anything avocado, when you're consuming those fats, your body is utilizing it for energy. It's utilizing it for hormones. It's utilizing it for your joints. It's taking it up to your brain and feeding your brain. You got to put this stuff in daily. Now, I will say this. Now, this is for some people that love nuts. You're not going to like what I'm going to say. And you see here, we got pistachios, we got almonds over here. It looks like that's chia seeds. So here's my thing on this. For the last, I used to eat these every day. I did. And I still do. I love nuts and seeds. I love how they taste. But it's been a year and a half since I've had a nut or seed of anything. I don't eat them anymore. I don't think I ever will eat them again. Well, why? Because aren't they so good for your health? Yes and no. Number one, nuts and seeds. The only exception to this is pumpkin seeds. That's the only exception to what I'm about to tell you. Pumpkin seeds. So if you like pumpkin seeds, you're good. You're in the clear. But every other nut and seed they're loaded with something called oxalates, oxalic acid. Oxalates are a like nanocrystal substance that's very anti-nutrient to your body. Meaning, if there is a lot of iron in a nut or a seed, if there's a lot of omega-3 fat, if there's a lot of good fat in that, you're not going to absorb all that fat because those nuts and seeds are some of the highest oxalate containing foods on this planet. They're loaded. Like a cup of almonds is, I think, 400 milligrams of oxalates. It's a ton. When you put that in your body, instead of that promoting um, um, lowering inflammation, it promotes inflammation. It can attack the joints. It definitely wreaks havoc on most people's digestive system. So I have to stop that. I can't eat that. Chia seeds, same thing. Chia seeds, very high. I used to put these in my shakes every morning. I'd have almond butter and almond milk. I'd throw a tablespoon of chia seeds, and I got to the point where I was just inflamed all over. I was really beat up in my joints. And once I removed that, it's made such a difference in my life. So I'm talking about me and a lot of patients. But that's the reason why I don't really promote this. Now, if you're eating these and you don't bloat after you eat them, if you're not feeling icky in your stomach, if you're not feeling it in your joints, you don't feel a little extra achy, then it might not affect you like it does me. But for a lot of people, you got to watch the nuts and seeds because they're high in oxalic acid. So you just got to look into that. So that's a fun rabbit hole to go down. But just saying, that's why I don't talk a whole lot about the nuts and the seeds as much as I used to. Um, Omega-3 fatty acids, it is a heart superfood. Just there's name a study that looks at this in heart, and it's always beneficial. Here's one. Consuming fish twice per week can result in a 36% reduction of coronary artery disease. That's huge. Like that's a big, there's not a drug that's going to prevent that well. There's not a drug you take that does as good a job as taking omega fats. Well, here's where I jump in. I'm like, okay, if I eat fish twice per week, I can do that. Okay, I'm going to have fat every meal. Let's see how that protects my heart because it does. It's very protective of the heart. Now, when we get into fat, it's every meal. Try to. And you might go, I can't do that much. But at first, it's going to seem like a lot, and you'll feel very full when you consume a lot of fat. It fills you up. In essence, yeah, because what your body will start doing, it will start taking the fat and converting it into energy for your body. It converts into sugar, believe it or not. It converts into sugar and it goes to your cells. You don't have to have sugar from an outside source. You don't have to have a carbohydrate anymore for the rest of your life if you consume a lot of fat. Fat will be the cleaner burning fuel for your body. Now, some people, like I always talk about this, you want in I would say every case, now, some people can handle carbs a little better than others, but you want to be very low on your carbohydrate and you're low in your sugar intake. That's a must. And what that does, that frees you up to have more protein, have more fat. But that fat's it's going to stay in your system. It takes a lot longer to break down than sugar. You won't spike your insulin near like you would eating, processed foods because it spikes. You will feel better, but your heart, your brain, your hormones will also do better. So this is called an advanced plan type of eating. This is something that we have in our new five essential book. Um, I'll talk about in a minute, but that's how you want to start doing this. It makes a huge significant difference with your health and your heart as an added bonus. Cholesterol supporting nutrients. Let's talk about these. Curcumin and turmeric. Those are really interchangeable because curcumin is extracted from turmeric. So if you look at this picture, see these. I actually moved that. Sorry, I didn't mean to move that. There we go. If you look at here, that's turmeric. That's what it looks like, right? It's kind of disgusting looking. I wouldn't eat that thing like a carrot. Would you eat that thing? No. We all are used to having it in a powder, which is curcumin. It's just this is all grinded up to make this. And surprisingly, it takes a lot of this to make enough curcumin to like put on your food and stuff like that. But curcumin is an antioxidant. It's clinically shown to lower LDL cholesterol if you're taking it as a supplement. Vitamin C, same thing. The Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows it lowers LDL cholesterol very effectively. But 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C is kind of what you're wanting to do there. And you want a good vitamin C. You want one that is gut friendly. That's going to be a form called calcium ascorbate, form of vitamin C that doesn't upset your gut. If you take ascorbic acid, right, that can upset a lot of people's stomachs. The higher dose you try to put in. And then CoQ10. CoQ10 is great. CoQ10 is so good for cholesterol because if you have high cholesterol, if you've been taking statins for a long time, then this has depleted your CoQ10. It's made in your liver. So if you're taking statins, it actually depletes it. But even if you're once you get to 30, you don't make as much CoQ10 as you age as you did when you're in your 20s, right? So you don't make enough, or not enough, we don't make as much. And so if you've had high cholesterol for a while, you'll probably be pretty low in CoQ10. CoQ10 isn't just good for your liver, it is, it's made from it, but also it's good for your heart, and it's good for your brain. It's good for all the cells of your body. It delivers oxygen to your cells. It delivers oxygen to the heart, into the brain. All those organs need that, right? So if you are have high cholesterol, that CoQ10 is a must. You're probably going to be low in it. You need to bring it up. So those are some good nutrients for that. Let me pop here and go to the yeah. So we got raw materials that'll help blood pressure. So what are some raw materials that can help blood pressure real easy? Magnesium. Magnesium is like it helps so many functions. It's used in 300 functions of your body on any given day. It's used that much. Kind of like B vitamins, it just gets used up. Magnesium is an electrolyte. It's a mineral. It has a calming effect on your body, your brain, and your heart. It calms down your heart, which is very nice. It helps dilate arteries, which is also very helpful for blood pressure. Because if your arteries dilate, blood pressure will go down because it doesn't take as much to get that blood going through a wide open, hole or an artery. Very big. Um, Resveratrol, you can see those grapes up here. Resveratrol, kind of like curcumin comes from turmeric. Resveratrol comes from grapes. Resveratrol is very heart healthy, very good for blood pressure, blood, related issues. Um, there's a couple others that I would just off the top of my head would recommend. So we got resveratrol. We have um, I didn't say we got magnesium. There's bonito peptide powder. Bonito powder that is sourced from fish. So we talked about how heart healthy having omegas that comes from fish. Well, also bonito powder or peptide powder is an animal peptide. It's an organ peptide, kind of like what we talked about at our last class. A lot of the things that we're starting to carry now are organ peptides, bioidentical organ peptides that serve a major purpose for heart. Benito peptide is one of those. It's been clinically, that's one that has clinically shown a lot of studies on that, reducing blood pressure naturally, very important. L-arginine is another one. That's a big one. We used to carry L-arginine. I don't anymore, um, just because we have a couple other options that I feel will do a better job. But L-arginine is another vasodilator. Omegas are a natural blood thinner. Vitamin E oil is a natural blood thinner. So those are raw materials that can really help with heart function. So hopefully that's helping. There's actually, let me put this up here for you guys because we have a book and you should get the copy of this up at our resource center because it gets into recipes and ways you can start cooking foods that are loaded with these healthy oils I'm talking about that have a lot of these ingredients in there that are going to support your heart or support your blood sugar levels to reduce. They're going to be anti-inflammatory. We have a book that's only been out for about 4 or 5 months. Get your copy of it. You can just call our office number or text us if you don't have the book. The girls can team that, can add that to your order form here as well. Because as we get into this, we're going to have some saving opportunities for those of you that are patients that, a lot of you already filled out your order forms for what I'm talking about. But it's not just what I'm talking about that's marked down. Our whole store and our office, everything is marked down. For you taking your time to be here and watch this, I want to reward you on that as much as I can because we want this stuff. You doing it, we know it's going to help you, and you save the most on these workshop days. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to show you if you don't have your order form, if this is your first class, you didn't know what to do. Don't worry, I'll guide you through it. You can still have all the savings. I'll show you how to contact the team here in a minute. But if you already have your order forms and you already know what you want, you don't have to wait for me. You can just text Destiny or Marquis at the front desk, text them now and let them know what you want. They'll get that thing done before I'm done talking. So, kind of the perk about a virtual class. But get the book. It's got a bunch of recipes in the middle of the book, shows you how to make this stuff, and the recipes are really good. It's typically going to be things you already eat now, but they're just made better. They have better ingredients, and they taste better too. That's the benefit. You'll like it. You'll like it. Very easy recipes to do. So we want to also not just eat better. That's a given. We want to. We got to move our bodies though. This one is hard for people. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'll do the nutrition, but I don't know about that working out stuff. You have to think of it in different terms of exercise and working out. You have to think of it as far as this is, we are designed to move. We have to. We can not move. Like we build disease if we're sedentary, especially heart issues, lung issues, and our waist gets bigger. We get overweight, so we can become diabetic if we're very sedentary. And it weakens your muscles, it weakens your ligaments, your surrounding tissue. The reason that stuff is very dangerous is because this all leads to, and I talked about this at our Younger Tomorrow workshop we did 2 months ago. These are risk factors for death, for overall mortality as you get older. And one of the it's actually even a bigger factor than nutrition is like being able to get up off the ground without using your arms, being able to walk 10,000 steps a day. If you can't do that stuff now, that's a problem there. You got to work on it. So when you see this slide, it has like standard cardio versus, high intensity, short duration cardio. Oops, sorry, I accidentally messed that up. There we go. When you see that, what exercise is best? Let me be honest with you. It's you doing whatever it takes to move, whatever you like to do. I want to make it very easy to understand on this. If you like to walk, then walk 30 minutes every day. Walk an hour a day. If you like to hike, go to the nature center, go to a state park, go to all the parks around Fort Worth and start walking outside. Walk around your neighborhood. If you love that, do it. If you love to run, run. If you like to run a trail, go to the trails and run. If you don't, run around your neighborhood. Be safe. Cycle, same thing. If you want to cycle, if you want to mountain bike, go mountain bike. If you want to cycle, cycle around your neighborhood on the road. Be safe on that one. Um, if you like to swim, go swim. You see what I'm saying? If you like to exercise at the gym, do that. Whatever you like to do, make it daily. That I want you to work on that first. Because if we don't make it daily, we're going to start suffering. And it's very easy to get out of you know what I'm talking about. It's very easy to get out of your exercise routine. All it takes is a couple of weeks of maybe life happening and maybe not being able to do it. And you will learn really quick how it's hard to get back into it. So if you like to do something, start with that. Because if you don't like your workouts, like from the jump, and you're not used to working out, you're not going to stick with it very well. So start off walking. So that's the first thing. Now, if you are doing that and you're like, okay, I feel like I got the hang of this, I'm feeling better. What can I do on my end? What can I add to this? Yes, you can do all types of interesting, fun stuff. The one thing I want to show you is going to be something called high intensity, short duration exercise or surge training. Um, that is kind of what this is. We have a protocol or a program that is free. Let me actually put this up on the board here. There we go. I'll put this on the ticker. There we go. So this is coming across the bottom of your screen. It's called maxt3.com. We used to have DVDs years ago. We used to do a lot of work with the Olympic athletes. I used to do a lot of work with that before we had our kids, and I kind of stepped away from that because that was eating all my weekends for sure. Um, but in these original videos, we had a lot of the Olympic athletes for the London Olympics in 2012 that were doing it, demonstrating it. And what's interesting is we had three different people. You had somebody that was a beginner, an intermediate, and then an elite athlete. And they had different colors on. Like beginner was gray, intermediate was red, black was the advanced guy or a girl. And you could make these workouts as easy or as hard as you want. That's the beauty of it. So when you see people doing the T3, it doesn't mean you have to be in phenomenal shape. This program is designed for you to do at your house, and you don't need very much equipment. All you really need would be like a stairs or a sturdy step stool, a pair of resistant bands, and then maybe an exercise ball to do some core stuff because you're using it's all your own body weight. It's and you're winded when you do it. You'll be out of breath, but that's the point. This is a little different from like aerobic exercise, like running or walking or cycling, because you're going to be very out of breath. See, in running, you don't want to get out of breath because then you have to stop running. You want to just keep it a steady pace. On this, you go either very fast or for a short duration, or you go not very fast, but you go fast for a little bit longer duration, and you break it up into different sets. So you typically do like, 5 to 6 sets of certain body movements, and then you're kind of done. If you go to maxt3.com, which is on the slide, this is a free program for all of you that are patients, even guests. You can start this that way. You go there, you put your email address, you create a username and password, and then you're in. All the content's free for you. And it just got all updated. It's streamlined, it's all new stuff. But you can do this at your house. You don't have to get a gym membership. You can, but do it at your house first. See how you like it. It's awesome. It's taught by Dr. Roberto. He's Team USA Wrestling. He's their official team chiropractor. So he travels all over the world with these guys and helps them while they're competing, on the world stage. But this is a great way to exercise if you want that challenge. If you don't, all you have to do is start walking for 30 minutes a day. That'll cut your heart disease risk by like 40%, like just walking. So don't think you got to do something crazy hard, especially if you have like a bad knee or bad back, but just get to where you are moving every day. Huge, huge help. I feel like. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that kind of inspires you guys to exercise. And we're getting to a point where it's really nice outside. We can exercise uh right now. Summer has not hit us yet, thank goodness. But we want to do that. And then lastly, we want to really start addressing one major thing that we don't look at a lot, especially when it comes to our heart health, and that's our nervous system. If you didn't know that, the way the heart beats, remember, brain is telling it how to beat. There is a communication, it's electrical firing from the brain to the heart all the time you're alive. That firing has to be precise. And we're electrical beings. But the way that our body uses that, if there's interference to that, and we talked about your spine being an interference, a block to that, it can create some massive issues. So, for instance, I want you to think about this. Let me pop this up here because when it comes to heart attacks and heart disease, a lot of people don't address right here. So there's two areas specifically for your heart that your nerves run. So the first one is you have at the very top of your neck, you can kind of see it up here. This is called the vagus nerve. It starts up here, and you have one on each side of your body. They call the vagus nerve the wanderer. And they call it the Wonder because it goes all over your body. It's the longest nerve you have. And it runs, get this, it doesn't just run one or two organs or muscles, it runs over half of your organs are run by the vagus nerve. It attaches that many things, but it attaches to the heart. The vagus nerve will tell the heart how to calm down, to slow the heart rate down. You might have heard of vagus nerve training or vagus nerve breathing. All that vagus nerve stuff is designed to calm down the body. That's his job. Vagus nerve calms down the body, but it relaxes and calms your heart rate down. That's important. That's important. So they call this the vagus nerve or the autonomic nervous system because it's automatically doing it. Now you're going to see up here in the top of your back, you have another section of nerves that's T3 to T5. They branch off and they run the heart as well. Well, what are those nerves? They're called sympathetic nerves. So you have autonomic, which is your vagus nerve that calms things down, and then you have sympathetic nerves, which speed things up. And so that's why you want a balance. You don't want too much or too little of each. You want to be in balance. But most of us, and you might relate to this, most people, they're living their lives in fight or flight. So the fight or flight response is a sympathetic nerve response. It's when you get very excited or stressed or anxious or you're inflamed or you're in pain. All those things create inflammation in the body, but also a higher heart rate. It speeds it up, right? It gets you tense, it gets you wired. You heard the term wired and tired. That is a sympathetic state. That's fight or flight. Autonomic is more like resting and digesting. That's what we want to be doing, right? We want to be resting, and when we're relaxed, we digest. We eliminate the waste a lot easier. You know what I'm talking about? We're not in pain. We breathe better. We breathe deeper. Our heart rate is chilled. It's calmed down. That's the rest and digest. That's the vagus nerve. So you have both of these things are run by different areas of our spine. Isn't that crazy? So they come out different areas. So protecting all this are spinal vertebra structures. And there's a little disc that goes in between these. That is what protects your spinal cord, and that's what protects your nerves from getting damaged. And it needs to be protected. There's a normal position to our spine. So if you're looking at me from the front, you should be straight up and down. Hips should be level. We kind of understand that. But look at this. That's how our spine should look from the side. We should have a curve in our neck, a curve in the upper back, and a low back curve like that. They should be 45-degree curves. Did you know that? People don't know that. You should not be straight from the side. Now, how does that relate to heart? Bear with me. I'm landing the plane because according to Dr. Thomas Cowan, he's a medical doctor. This guy is a founding board member of the Weston A. Price Foundation, very prestigious foundation when it comes to medicine. And it's about preventative medicine as well. He is quoted as saying, listen, most heart attacks are likely caused by an imbalance in your central nervous system, CNS, and your autonomic or unconscious, that's the vagus nerve, nervous system, the ANS, autonomic nervous system, which controls the function of our organs. Okay, it's not just me telling you this. This is science. This is science 101. This is anatomy 101. This is what runs the organs. If there's an interference in that, then organs don't work. So check this out. If you have interference here, well, how do you get interference to your spine? People think, well, if I hurt myself, if I have a trauma, if I have an auto accident, or if I have a concussion, if I fall down really hard, if I get hit, all those, yes, that can cause the spine that should be in a normal position. It can cause the spine to just shift out of position. And it doesn't take as much as you might realize to do that. But when the spine shifts, those nerves that are vital, that come out, that are running organs, they can get compressed. And when those nerves are compressed, no longer do they fire normally. Let me show you. I hope you can add. Is it showing on the? Let me see if it's showing. No, on my slides, these nerves are actually firing. Like you can see, it's like a video. It doesn't do it on yours. I apologize. So let me walk through this. So on the slide, you have a spinal bone, spinal bone, spinal bone, spinal bone. Looks like thoracic spine, and then you have the nerves that come out here in between the bones. Well, the ones on top and bottom, they're plump. They're not getting compressed. There's no subluxation there. But the one in the middle is subluxated. It's circled. You can see how the nerve is getting compressed. So it's getting squeezed. It's firing, but it's not firing at 100%. Matter of fact, there's reduced like information, reduced power, reduced info going to, let's say that's going to the heart. So now the heart's going to have to respond to less info. It starts to stress, and it's going to have to start pumping a little bit harder to try to keep up. It's got to work a little bit harder. It will do that for a very long time without you noticing there's an issue because our body is wired to adapt to stress. Thank goodness. But there's going to be a point where if nothing's done to fix that, then you'll start to see the symptoms of a heart not working well or working too hard, like it's like a heart attack or a stroke or the blood pressure spikes, or the pulse goes up. Resting heart rate's high. That's what I'm talking about. So this can happen through trauma, absolutely, but it also can happen more commonly with people's day-to-day lifestyles. What do I mean by that? Well, the way you sleep, the way you sit down. Are you at a desk all day? Are you on a computer? Are you studying in school all day? Is your head down? We're on tech more now than we ever have been. Oh my goodness. I spent yesterday, was my son's birthday, and he's 13 now, which is crazy when you think about it. Well, we went to the Apple store because he's a very he loves electronics. He just loves that stuff. And he knows even way more than I know about that stuff. But that's like one of his main things. He loves it. So he got a little bit. He got a new device he had saved up for, and with his birthday money, he's able to get one. But we're out there. I'm just seeing how he handles the tech, and there's so many people are in there. Everybody is like head down, looking at the tech. Their posture's awful. That's what people do every day. Even the ones that aren't really into tech, they're on their phones all the time. We're looking down. So it's our lifestyle beats us up, and our lifestyle can cause our spine to subluxate, and it creates havoc in the body. This slide really helps illustrate that. You have the whole spine leveled out, and each level has a number and a letter to it. So the C bones, those are going to be the cervical or the neck bones. The T bones, there's 12 of them, those are thoracic, and then the L bones are the lumbar bones or the lower back. The middle section is really cool because all those nerves runs a part of your body. In the middle, it shows the areas they control, and on the far right are all the symptoms, the warning signs, diseases, pain response that can happen if the spine is subluxated at that level. It's pretty amazing. So if you look at like C1, a lot of vascular stuff, a lot of balance stuff. People don't realize that. This will blow you away. This is cool. This is actually coming from studies done on blood pressure and chiropractic. These are specific studies. This came out in 2007 from the University of Chicago Medical Center and WebMD. So you can look this study up. So it's nerve supply and blood pressure. What they had a couple groups of patients, all of them clinically high blood pressure. All of them had high blood pressure. In the first group, they did not adjust them or check their spine or do anything spinal related. They just had them take lisinopril and HCTZ, which are both blood pressure medications, for 3 months, and then they did outcome assessments. They saw where their blood did it go down, did it stay down, were they able to get off the meds? And then they had another group that had high blood pressure and they did nothing to, but they didn't give them drugs either. And they looked at them after 3 months. They had the final group that got adjusted. They took no blood pressure meds. Instead of doing that, they were adjusted. They found subluxations in the neck, especially C1. They adjusted them a couple times a week for 3 months, checked them. And do you want to know what they found? Because they did this study several times because they were shocked each time they did it. And finally, they're like, well, this isn't a coincidence. This is happening like every time we check. The group that got adjusted twice a week for 3 months, they had better blood pressure levels. They had lowered better than the group that had taken two different blood pressure meds in combination. All of them had better blood pressure levels, and it lasted because they were able to sustain that. The group that had the blood pressure drugs, once they got off the meds, they couldn't sustain. The blood pressure went back up to what it was before. So they saw that and they're amazed by this. That's from the vagus nerve. That's the top of the neck. Huge study on that. Nobody knows about that, but that's something that we see in practice with our patients that have high blood pressure. Typically, they don't have to rely on the blood pressure meds because they are getting adjusted and it's starting to lower on its own. It's pretty amazing. This is another one that I thought was cool. This is from about 20 years ago, same time frame, but this was on heart rate variability and getting adjusted. So the study was the effect of chiropractic care on heart rate variability, and it was done in the journal of it's called JMPT, and it was done in 2020 or 2006. Well, the study showed that people who got adjusted in the neck, they compared their HRV levels to people that obviously did not get adjusted. They showed that it improved their HRV and lowered their risk of heart disease issues very quickly. So they were getting adjusted, and then they would have them do things that would test the HRV. So basically, like running, doing something athletic. And they after they adjusted them and they had them do that, they noticed that their heart adapted better to the strain they put on it after the adjustment versus the athletes that weren't getting adjusted and then putting them through that. Same people, they did it before and after. The first time, no adjustment. The second time, adjusting and do it again. They saw better change in HRV with the adjustment group. Pretty cool stuff. People don't realize that. And so that's why we check. We always talk about the nerves because it just relates to everything that we talk about in all of our classes, just different aspects in different ways. But for you watching, this is knowledge. This is backing up the fact of why you're a patient here, why this is helping you, understanding why you're getting better in a lot of areas, coming to these classes, watching them online, and don't miss coming to the ones at my church. They're awesome, the in person ones. But coming to these regularly, That's why you keep doing it. That's why you read newsletters. We have research on our newsletters every single week, and it's different topics of this because we want you learning more and more and more about this. Because if you can make this the foundation of your health before you do other stuff, I promise you, as you get older, you'll be on less drugs, not more. You'll have less surgeries, not more. You'll go to the hospital a whole lot less. You won't be spending a ton of money every year on the doctor because you're not going to get sick as much because you're working with your body. You're not just treating symptoms. Now, those of you that are not patients, and this is new to hear, I get it. It can be a little overwhelming. You're like, how come my doctor didn't tell me about this? How come my medical doctor didn't tell me about this? Because they're just not trained to look at your spine. They rarely do, especially during your yearly blood work. That's not what they specialize in. That's what we specialize in. And these, I can tell you, from 19 years and thousands of people of helping, these are the most common warning signs or symptoms that I see. You have a list here: headaches. That's a vascular problem. It's usually in the top of the neck. High blood pressure, same thing. Cycle issues. Holy cow, ladies! There's something that's really interesting about my office. If you have cycle issues, if you have like endometriosis, if you have dysmenorrhea, if you're cycled, if you have a ton of pain, if you feel like crud for a week before your cycle happens, if you just if that's you, you will love our office because most ladies that are having issues like that get better because we adjust them. And typically, what we find in those ladies is lower back is way out of position or the pelvis, the hips are really twisted. And if you think about all the stuff that happens, sports and what have you, maybe gymnastics or maybe cheerleading, whatever, that can make a difference for sure in the hips and the lower back. And we have seen so many people, so many ladies come in and they have hormone issues. They're trying to get pregnant with their spouse and they can't, but they're wanting to. They might not think they can. Couple of months of being a patient in the office, you know what happens to those ladies? They tell me they're pregnant and they can't believe it. They have babies. It's awesome. And I adjust the babies. You guys have seen we've had a lot of ladies give birth over this last year. I have a lot of babies that we're adjusting, and it's just so much fun because we're able to take care of the babies from the beginning. It's obviously different than when I adjust an adult, but just it's usually because the mom was trying to get pregnant but couldn't, and now they're pregnant. Now they have their baby. They're like, man, take care of my child from day one. It's a cool thing. So we see a lot of kids, a lot of families. This is kind of the stage of life I'm in. I love that because all those kids are going to grow up and not have the issues that all of us adults dealt with. We didn't know any better. So we always want to try to help our next generation do it better than we did. But if you're like, man, this makes sense, and I just need to get myself checked. I've never heard of this before. Or if you have a family member, or if your child hasn't never had their spine checked, or your parents, you want them checked, patients, or your spouse, we will do that. We'll check them. This is kind of what I want you to do. I want you to call the office. Let me put this up here so you have the way to do it. Call our office and schedule a nervous system evaluation for your family or for your best friend at work or your friend at church that's always bugging you about their spine or their headaches or their heart issues. We can take advantage of that. We'll help them. Normally in our office, we call this like a new patient exam or a day one. We do a full exam. We do consults with you as a patient. We figure out, all the medications you're taking or what the issues you're dealing with. We try to figure out like what's leading to this happen. But we do thermography because when nerves are damaged, they get very hot. We can actually do a thermal scan to check that. And then we do x-rays. We do digital x-ray analysis, and we can locate where subluxations are in the spine. And that helps us see where to start helping somebody because we never guess with patients' health. We always x-ray before we adjust. Because we're very cautious, and that's the safest approach possible. And we'll show you what's going on. Normally, that's $105 to have all the testing done in our practice. But if you're watching this class, you're like, man, I want to take advantage of that. We will help you find out what's going on. We'll waive that initial cost for your whole day one exam. So there won't be a required payment when you come into the office if you call that number today. And if we're on the phone, you leave a message. Let us know who you are, your best phone number so we can contact you, and our team will contact you back. If you're calling, it's after hours on Saturday. Our team gets back on Tuesday. They'll call you Tuesday. Don't stress. We will call you. We will honor that with you. We have some times available this week, but that's what this is for. This is for this next week coming up. Those of you that are action takers, There won't be a cost to checking yourself or your family out because that's what we want to do. We want you to find out, and then it's your choice, whatever you want to do. If you want to take care of, if you don't, that's up to you. But at least you'll know we don't pressure anybody, but we want to show you what's going on. Because when would you want to find out that like your child has a curve in the neck that's going the other direction? Would you want to find that out at 12 or at 30 when they're having headaches every single day or they're having vision issues? Like the earlier the better. Same with the spouse, right? So take advantage of that. We can help, but you got to call the number. Call that number right now. As we get into kind of the next thing, I'll leave that up here for y'all. And then so our nutritional insurance, that's where supplementation plays a big part. So I always talk about how to supplement it, but you'll always hear me say first is we start changing our eating. Yeah, if you start changing your eating better, you don't have to take as many supplements, right? That's the goal. Now, there might be some things that you have to take just because you haven't ate well for 20 years. That makes sense. We want to bridge those gaps. But what I want to get into are a couple protocols here for this specific class. So the first bundle that we have, that's going to be our wellness bundle, our cardiovascular wellness bundle. This is going to really work on like cholesterol balance and heart health, kind of all in one. We have our new CoQ10 supplement, our resource. It's called CoQ-Null. It is the difference between this one and the one we used to have. It's the dosage and the way it absorbs. This one has 100 milligrams of CoQ10 per capsule. Our old one had 60 milligrams. This has almost double the amount. That's why it's called CoQ10. It has, some different ways to absorb it into the body better. But that's the big difference. It's a higher dose of it. But CoQ10, again, you're oxygenating all the cells in the body. It's great for the liver, great for cholesterol, great for heart health, for brain health. It's a good thing to get on just preventatively. It really is. And then our omega-3. This is regenerative organic omega-3 fatty acids. So this is a animal source. This is a fish-based source of it because you just absorb this a lot faster into your body. But the reason I like the Pure Path line that we talk about, everything is regenerative organic, meaning you have organic, which everything is, no pesticides, no herbicides, no chemicals and stuff like that, which is great. But when you have regenerative organic, you take that same principle and you apply it to the soil that the crops are grown in that are also nutrients fed to fish. All that's happening in one spot. So this is from Jordan Rubin and Josh Axe. It's really Jordan Rubin more. It's his farms in Tennessee and Missouri. His all the labs are there as well. All the manufacturing is in one spot. We don't have to outsource from different, ingredients from different countries. It's all in one spot. It's just from the most potent stuff you can have is the Pure Path line. So we're super psyched about that. But that omega-3, you just take one capsule a day. So very easy. One capsule of each a day is how you do the wellness bundle. Now, for those of you that have high cholesterol and you're really wanting to drive that down, naturally though, and really work on your inflammation, this is a good cholesterol bundle. So this is the CoQ-Null, and you still just are doing, one a day. You're not going crazy on this. It's still one a day. But you're going to also add in 1,000 milligrams of the Pure Path vitamin C. Now you might have noticed vitamin C, this one got upgraded to Pure Path a few months ago. So that is a newer combination. Super excited about that. It is still the same amount as the old one. It's still the same type of vitamin C. It's calcium ascorbate, very gut healthy, very easy on the intestinal tract. But you just take two of those a day. Remember, that helps lower LDL numbers, vitamin C does. And then we have our other new inflammation immune support resource. The reason that's part of the cholesterol bundle, it targets inflammation through turmeric, curcumin. So we know that that will lower LDL cholesterol as well. That is a big component of this inflammation immune support. Also, inflammation for the joints, reducing inflammation in your joints. It works with that. It has bromelain and other enzymes to reduce inflammation as you eat something. So these are going to be all great things to take and things that will help you, tremendously. So it's a good bundle to have. All the bundles are majorly marked down, so you save the most when you actually get those bundles today at the class. This is for today only. This is for those of you watching the class that took the time to watch it. We're rewarding you. Big savings on the bundles on that. And then the last one, pardon me, I gotta lose my voice here. The last one I want to talk about is the high blood pressure bundle. Um, those of you that took the BP support, it is the exact same thing as BP support. It's called HTN Supreme, or hypertension support. Same exact, because Design for Health, they made the label. We put a label on this supplement for our line for BP support. Exact same label. It's just our ML no longer does the BP support. I think something new will be coming out in the near future. We have so much new stuff that's coming out. It's overwhelming, but it's exciting. But this, in the meantime, same function. It's the Benito peptide powder. That is the main component of the HTN Supreme. Great for blood pressure support regulation. The magnesium, that is our Pure Path magnesium. It also has shiitake mushroom blend in it as well for stress. Magnesium, you take that at night. It's awesome. It's three forms of magnesium, not just one, but it's the glycinate form, malate, and there's another one. It's a long form of magnesium. But those are great, very helpful, very gut friendly, not going to upset the stomach when you take those. And then the omega 3, because obviously very heart healthy. It's very good for thinning the blood naturally. The magnesium dilates the arteries. It's a really good 1, 2, 3 punch for blood pressure. So these are big things. I think they're very helpful. Again, they're all on sale. All you gotta do is call the office. I would say text the office. Um, our office phone number. Let the team know what you're wanting. If you're wanting to add one of these bundles to what you've already ordered, you can do that through text as well. But that's the best way to get a hold of them, because a lot of people, as I'm noticing, a lot of people are texting the office right now, which is great. But that gives them time to make sure they have exactly what's on your list so they don't miss anything. It just helps. If you're watching this and you're not a patient and you want to get on these resources, I would have you call our office, leave a message, let us know who you are and your best phone number. Our office will contact you back, and then we can make sure you come pick these up in the office as well. And while you're doing that, you can make your new patient appointment as well, set that all up on the phone. We got you covered. So that's kind of the benefit. Everything in the office is kind of marked down on sale right now. So take advantage of that. So action steps before we get to the Q&A. Those of you that are not patients, that are guests, definitely take advantage of the complimentary exam. Schedule your spine and nerve exam for this week. You just need to call the office. They'll find a time that works for you. They'll send you patient paperwork over. It's easy to fill that out. The only thing that we ask is just, man, whatever time you pick, just commit to making it to that time. We definitely have to take time out of our existing patients to do an exam with you, which we want to do, but we obviously want you to value it and take advantage and don't miss, because that takes away from other people that can't get into that time slot. So take advantage of that. Start eating more heart healthy foods. That would be the advanced plan. If you don't know what that is, or you don't know how to start making meals that way, get our book. That is it's just so much easier when you have a recipe book and it just follows the advanced plan for you. That way you're eating and you're like, I'm not stressing, because this is an advanced plan recipe. It's going to be higher in fat, high in protein, low in carb. That's what you want to be eating more of right now anyway. So it works really well. Tell the team you want one of the books. Get your supplement bundle that fits you where you're at with what you're wanting out of this class. Take that as well. And then start moving daily. Five days a week, at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So you can take Saturday and Sunday off, but move all the other 5 days. You'll just feel better. I promise you, mentally, you'll feel better as well. Get outside. That's going to be big. And yeah, don't stay indoors. Don't be sedentary. And then lastly, our next upcoming event is going to be in a month, and that's going to be our big summer fun family and friends week. That's going to be May 19th. That's a Tuesday to May 22nd, which is a Friday. And it's going to be a donation to the Archway. Now, the Archway is Safe Haven. They changed their name a couple months back. So I'll say Safe Haven a lot. I just have the habit. We partnered with that. It's a domestic violence shelter we partnered with for years, but it is now changed the name to the Archway. So when I say Archway, it's Safe Haven, same company, same organization. We do a charity drive as well that week. So if you have somebody you're wanting to bring into the office to get checked, all they have to do is donate to the Archway as a charity donation, and then we do a free exam and X-rays during that week, special week, because the whole week is kind of benefits from that. But just keep that, write that down. If you've been working on your family and friends a lot, you're going to send this class to one of them. Let them know about the family and friends week. They can get that scheduled up too. So again, we can help a lot with that. So What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put on Q&A here. So we want, if you have questions, we want to take some time, address these questions, these concerns. Let me take a look and read through these a little bit here. Man, I'm so good. You guys got on there early. I love that. Okay. So, good morning. All right, guys. This is great. Yeah, this is anytime we talk about statins and on the box, that shocks a lot of people. So, Micah, I'm with you. When the first time I saw this, I was so like skeptical. Like, no way it says that on the box, but it absolutely does. It absolutely does. So that should tell you everything you need to know about the statins. Like, they can't even show that it does benefit this. Um, oh, she has another one. So, yeah, the nuts. Look, with the nuts and seeds. Use your judgment on that. I would test this. So try to go like a couple of weeks without any nuts or seeds. See how you feel. And I mean, see how you feel mentally, see how your joints feel, and see how your gut feels. In most cases, it's going to feel loads better. Even if you think it feels fine now, when you remove that, you're gonna be like, "Holy cow, this is what it should feel like." If you notice no change in 2 weeks, then get back on them. That's fine. But a lot of people, it really does affect the gut. Like it affects it quite a bit, actually. So it's just high in oxalates. Yeah, she said the chia seeds too. I get that too. Flaxseed. Oh, Mikey, you got some great questions. So I tell you what, yeah, I get it. I get it with the flax seeds, but they're going to kind of be in that category as well. Yeah, this category as well. Like I don't do flaxseed on anything anymore myself. Now, same thing. Cut it out for a week or two, see how you feel. I feel like most people notice it in the gut. They don't bloat near as much. That's when they really feel a lot better on that. So just check it out. Like, trust me, sounds a little bit crazy, but when you really look at what these things do, it is a game changer when you remove that out and you're not putting all those oxalates in the body. Um, oh, cool. Hey, Sunny, I'm glad you're sharing it. So good to have you on. Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, this is a good question. John, I'm so glad you're on, buddy. How can missing meals be a heart health stressor? It can and it can't. So that could be a little bit of a tough question to answer, but let's give our best crack at it. So how can this actually harm you? I would say if you are new to changing your diet, so if you haven't really worked on changing your diet, if you do like a big standard American diet and you start trying to just fast, that can be really problematic for people because it's too much to do right then. It's not to say that fasting's not good. Fasting can be very helpful. Intermittent fasting, where you're maybe not having breakfast, you're just having lunch or dinner every day, can be very helpful. I have found that is not an all or none approach. That's a tailored response to maybe fast or miss a meal. But for sure, I would say that if you have, high blood pressure, or if you have heart disease, if you have high blood sugar, especially, and you just try to do like a 3-day water fast, you're going to have some trouble. It can be a shock. It can be too much for the body. What I would suggest is you can do that a little bit down the road, but maybe at first start really working on just having 3 meals, don't having, maybe not a snack, just really like 3 meals, kind of separate your body into, okay, training it to like, I'm eating now. I need to break this stuff down because I'm not going to have another snack in the meantime until my next meal. I got to start working on utilizing the nutrients. And then I would actually concentrate more on protein and fat and really lower the amount of carbs and sugars in the body. Get your body used to that for a little bit first versus really just going straight cold turkey. I even tell people that they heard our last class and they heard about my wife doing carnivore it's been a year now. It's been actually a full year. She's still staying on it. So proud of her. But like we didn't start, she especially didn't start just 1 day vegetarian, cold turkey, carnivore now. Heck no. That would have stressed her. She would have felt completely awful, would have never done carnivore had she done it that way. We just added a little piece of meat each day because she couldn't break it down. Her body had to get used to that first. Now that's all she eats. She has no carbs. She has no vegetables or fruits. It's just animal fat and animal meat and butter and salt. And that's all. But she handles that great now. But that wasn't overnight. That we had to slow walk that for about a year and then turn it on for the last year. So same thing with when it comes to missing meals. If you're fasting, just ease into the fasting. Start with maybe a 12-hour fast where you're eating from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's your eating window, and then don't do any eating up until 8 a.m. the next day because that'll give you the fasting effects. But also you can kind of see how your body handles that. It's not a whole 24, 48 hour, 72-hour fast. It's just 12 hours. So most people could handle that pretty well. And that would give you the opportunity to maybe not have a breakfast. You would just, eat during that window, and then you can work on that. Hopefully that helps answer that question. That's a really good question, John. But for some people, yeah, some people they can't do that right now. If they already have all these heart disease factors, they've had a stroke, they've, had a heart attack. I would say you can get to doing that, but maybe first just really focus on flooding the body with nutrients, and then we can start working on maybe not having a breakfast, just having lunch and dinner, reduce that eating window. Just we want to do an order to things that's less stressful for the body. Because sometimes when we change things up for the better, it's a stress. And it can be really hard. And some people, it's a difference between them following through with that new lifestyle or them just quitting, saying it didn't work for me. They weren't able to give it enough time because they tried to just make too quick a change. Hopefully that helps. Okay, Micah, you're going to change it and see because of the that's good. I'm glad you're going to change it and watch what it's crazy how you will see that difference as I did. And that's why I won't have nuts and seeds probably ever again. I just won't. As much as I can avoid them, I won't have them. Oh, here we go. This is Betsy. Hi, Betsy. I'm so glad you and Ron were watching. Thank you for solving the mystery of my aching joints this year. I've been eating nuts and seeds as my go-to snack all year. Okay, I'm glad you got off of that. It's the oxalates. That's what it is. It's not necessarily the nut. It's just it's more anti-nutrient. It's kind of like getting into the spinach and kale and the real dark greens. Those are also really high in oxalates. There's a good book you can start reading. It's called Toxic Superfoods. It radically changed my thought process on all things nutrition. So it's a hard read too because I was with you. I was doing all these superfoods that I thought were so healthy for me, but they're the highest oxalate ranking foods that you could put in your body. And I'm doing several of them every day. So my body was just loaded up with oxalates and it was affecting my gut and my joints and my inflammation and in my memory. And so reducing that, you got to find out which ones are high, which ones are not. That's a really good book, Toxic Superfoods. Um, and I'm telling you, when you read it, it's a hard read because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I've been doing this for my whole life, so I get it. But I'm so glad you've been, reducing that and seeing the change because it does make a difference in the joints and your gut. Absolutely does. Um, oh, Miss Mary. So I think I made everybody upset with the nuts and seeds comment. I'm sorry. I really am. Now this might not be you, Mary. If you do not have any issues with the joints or with the gut health. And it might not be that. There are some people that handle it well. There are. There's just a lot of people that do not handle it well and they don't know any better, like me. I didn't know any better. Um, all right, Miss Laura. So glad you're watching, girl. Glad you're watching. Um, yeah, so she's been doing carnivore for a little bit and she's seeing some great change from it. It's a game changer. And it's not that you have to do it your whole life, but it's a really good reset for a lot of people. And then you slowly add in some foods and you see how your body handles it. And you learn really quick which ones aggravate your body, which ones are totally fine, you know? So you can add some stuff in, but there might be some things that your body just doesn't like and you just didn't know because you're eating all types of different things. So those are some great questions. If anybody has any more questions, put them down there for me. But it looks like we're kind of done with that. Great questions. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you can share this with family and friends because people they desperately need to hear this stuff. It can change their life, and you're not being like a nuisance to them. Once they get their life back, they're going to thank you for reaching out to them. So don't forget to remember who you are. Remember that you're a life changer. You're helping people that do not know the truth. And we're so glad you're part of our family and our office. We love you guys. And looks like that's it for now. So we'll see you in the next class. Okay. Have a good rest of your day and stay safe out there if it's raining on the roads.